What about corruption's corruption? What about fraud is fraud? What about
Yeah. Fraud
doing
is fraud.
shitty stuff? Evil is evil.
Yeah. And because Elon is a part of the Doge and they've successfully demonized Elon, then anything that gets cut is like an affront to democracy. Anything that gets removed, despite the fact that things like the Department of Education, from the time that it was invented to today, where we were, before it was invented, we were number one in the world with education, or at least in the top 2 or 3. What were we when they created the Department of Education? And what were we as of 2024?
Down pretty far.
Yeah, we're not anywhere near number one anymore. So it's not an effective department. So if giving the power to the states and allowing states to implement common sense strategies to increase children's scores and to give them the freedom to do that and to innovate, I think is a good thing. I think it's the competition of the marketplace of ideas.
Yes.
And if you find out that this place has a legitimately excellent school system, you're going to want to go to that place. Yeah. And that's going to encourage commerce. That's going to encourage the growth of businesses. Like these are all good
what it
things.
does is it turns it back into a meritocracy.
Yes.
Which is what we need.
Yes. But we also have to address as a community, as a country, and this is something that never gets talked about enough. There's places that are fucked, and they're not going to unfuck themselves. And if you're talking about Baltimore or the south side of Chicago or any of these cities that have experienced the exact same environment for generation after generation of crime and poverty, that needs to be addressed. And that's the only way we fix the crime problem in this country. It has to be fixed from like a children level. We have to stop children from growing up in these horrendous environments, improve these environments, give them a fucking chance, and you have all these exceptional human beings that can come out of that.
And that's what I don't agree with the right side.
That's exactly what I don't agree with on the right.
Yeah.
Like people that are against welfare or against social safety nets, I am for all that shit. But I'm also for guidance and mentorship and examples of how to live a life that's full of meaning and accomplishment. And anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. If you can get an education, if you can get job, if you can get out there in the world, and if you have a fucking chance of not getting indoctrinated into a fucking gang and you're not forced to sell drugs, you don't get murdered when you're 15, that's what we have to stop. Because this is like, we have untapped potential of human beings that are just being poisoned by an environment that's never going to change. And if we don't look at it that way, you want to make America great again?